In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix this scanning mesh when it's just has a bad surface like that. I'm going to use some methods to close the surfaces first and then have a solid body. This is the first solution by using the edit mesh mode, and we have another solution by using the sub-D mode, squad wrapping. You have ability to use seconds to deport and have a solid body. Quad rubbing the full scan port and close the gaps. Using shrink wrap to get even more precise sub-D. And get a full solid body, you can add extrudes to it. Manual modeling using subdivision surfaces. Combining the boards to get one full solid body. Hello guys, again we just have this scanned mesh and it looks like it's have really bad surfaces and missing ports. Maybe the scanner didn't catch that surfaces, and we're gonna try to fix that to get a solid body at last. So the first solution is I'm going to use the edit mesh here. So now I can just select some section of it to fix it. So let me just pick some sort of place like that. Invert the selection here and delete this. Now let's pick up all of this part by selecting the group selection or switch to the body. Let me just unselect the pane selection, and I'm gonna just right click on edit selected mesh faces using sub-D commands. Now you have this, looks like a sub-D now, and I can easily fix these ports. So maybe just reinserting an edges here. And I can easily select any edge of this opened edge. Then I'm going to click Cloud Fill. So what I've seen is just close it like a magic. Let's do it in another way. Maybe this one looks like a big spot here. I'm going to select the pane selection tool and just going to delete this faces just to get a cleaner surface. I can use a smaller pane selection radius. Okay, now I can delete this easily. Just delete this also. Let's uncheck the paint selection, and I'm gonna use the quad fill again. Let's try if it's gonna fill this big place here. So yeah, let's just really close it. And we have this also. I have to clean this mess in order to get a cleaner surface while just quad filling. So I can just remove this also by pressing on the paint selection, and I can just delete this, selecting the faces, and make something like surrounded selection. Then I'm gonna delete this. So I get now the separated part. I can select it and delete. Okay, so it looks good now. Now I have to just bridge this because it's really big. The quad fill not gonna be able to fill this whole place. So let's just use a bridge here between these two edges and these two edges. Something like that, and press on bridge. Now I'm gonna use this weighting about 3 or 4, maybe 3, and increase the number of the lines here. Okay, now press OK, and now I can easily quad fill this place. Select any edge or face and quad fill. Okay, so it looks like it's quad fill. It's good, but it's a little looks weird. I need this to be flat, so let's use the curve tool. So okay, it looks like it fixed it with a nice way. I used the curve tool here at level 6, and it looks like it really fixed the situation. So let's go and continue modeling this. So I think the quad fill maybe get this to work. We just delete these faces. So what I'm gonna do is make a bridge from here, and also the same operation. And then I can use quad fill here. And let's close this one. Now let's try to fix this hole. Maybe deleting these triangles and quad fill. Okay, so I see that it looks amazing. Now I'm going to use here a little bigger weighting to get this same radius. Now press OK, and let's remove this guy here and reuse the quad fill. Okay, so I got now this port is fully closed. You just got this guy here. You can use bridges also, something like that. And bridge, let's use any numbers, maybe like that. And I use here 100 to get this same radius. It's not gonna be quietly same, but it's gonna work. Okay, now from here let's select this edge, the quad fill. Alright, so now we got this ports fully closed. I can now select the port to explain on it and invert the selection and hide the rest of the model. Then I have here this open holes. Let me just use quad wrap. I'm going to use it at 0.25. Maybe 0.2. Now select the 5-sided and mesh is not closed and the legacy quad wrap. I found that it's too much for the board and gonna be too much to handle while closing the holes, so I'm gonna go back to quad wrap again and use a little higher level, maybe 0.5 or something, and just have to delete this mask around to have a better filling when using quad fill. So I'm gonna select all these extra faces here. Now I can just easily go to quad wrap and at 0.5 hit OK, and I should be able to bridge now between these two surfaces. Get a bridge and increase the numbers. Let me just use a weight about 1 and 1.5 here, just to make this straight line here. Now I'm gonna click on the quad fill and it just filled the surface now. Let's repeat this operation for the rest of the holes here. In this case here I'm just going to select 3 edges and connect them with other 3 edges at the bottom. And I'm going to use bridge to raise the level of the lines, and this is for the tangency pushing, so it's a little bit tangent from here and semi-flat on the top. Okay, now I can just delete this small rectangles. I could use another bridge here to make this operation run quickly and simple. So let's just increase a little here. Yeah, I'm gonna hit OK. Now I have ability to quad fill without any problems. Select this loop and use quad fill. The same at the bottom. I'm gonna use quad fill directly. Now after I just finished it closing the gaps, you can use thickness to give it a thicken and use it as a solid body. We also got another way to do the same process, filling the holes by quad wrapping. So I'm going to go to quad wrap here and I'm going to type 0.25. Then I'm going to select meshes not closed because it's not closed here, and lazy quad wrap. Okay, so after it's quad wrapped, now you got this opened edges here that we should close manually. So for an example, let's go up to this small part here. So I can just select one of these faces and press on quad wrap or quad fill. So it's fully closed now. We got no issues. So let's see another thing here, something like that. I can select these three faces and delete it. Let's delete this also. And now let's try to quad fill again. Let's select this face here, or I can select this edge and quad fill. So it looks good, just closed. Let's go to another thing, maybe a little bigger hole here. Something like that. So I should firstly close the mesh manually. So something like I'm gonna bridge between here and here, and I'm gonna use the weight on about 35 and the both arrows. Then let's increase the levels or the numbers of lines in the bridge. Okay, that looks good. Hit apply, and I'm gonna delete this bad faces in order not to have something with the quad fill, so it can easily quad fill it. Okay, now everything looks like flat. Let's try and do a test on the quad filling, see what's happened. Okay, now it's fully closed, looks nice. We just got this weird thing here. Let's see if we just delete it. Okay, it's just because of the knobbed edge. Now everything looks fine. So that's for the bigger holes. Something like that. You can just connect these together, pipe bridge between them, and increase the numbers of lines here. And let's use weight about 12 or something for the both lines. Hit OK. Let's delete this triangle here. Okay, so it looks now ready to go with the quad fill. However, you can edit manually the line or the edge flow here. Again, just by example, insert edges, and I can connect these together. Okay, now we got this big guy here. That looks really messy. So I'm gonna do bridges. Maybe 44, and increase it a little. Okay, let's connect these also. And I'm gonna delete this. Let's select the pen selection tool, and I'm going to select the faces. Just make it a little smaller, and let's delete these faces. Now let's try the quad fill and see what's gonna happen. So this looks really nice. We can use the curve tool to make it smoother. Maybe increase it a little, so it's now giving me a flat surface. Now for here, click and quad fill, and we're gonna keep filling the holes until we can finish the full bars. I can just use the isolate edges, open edges here, so you're gonna tell me where exactly the edges that opened. So like that, we got a lot of edges that opened. We try to fix them all and see the results at the end. In this stage I have selected here the most bad surface that wasn't closed and just pressed on hide. Then I have here the all surfaces with no issues to have ability to shrink wrap it. So I'm gonna select now all these faces and right click, add a constraint to vertices. So now I have just all these faces I selected, constrain it to the mesh, and then I can easily unhide what I've just hidden. As you see, it's turned to a purple color. That means it's constrained to the scanned mesh. Then I can now unhide all. You can see all of the faces was cutted, different color now. So I'm going to go to the shrink wrap and at level 1 uncheck this optimization and auto smooth, and I'm going to use at level 1 E2K. And now everything is just attached to the scanned mesh. Let me just go to hide this and worsen the distance, so it can give me how much the sub-D is on the scanned mesh, how much farther or how much closer. So the green here is mean it's everything okay here. As you see, everything looks great. Not underneath and not above it. It's exactly on the scanned mesh. And here for the holes and the bad surface, you're gonna see also it looks good, because that was just unexistable anyway. After that I can just convert it easily and get a solid body and fix that with the SolidWorks, creating the holes and the cut extrudes and everything. For this one I'm just going to use the manual sub-D, and I'm going to add a thickness to it to get the same thickness of the board or near of it, and then I'm going to start to model the boards to get most of the boards here, and I can combine it with SolidWorks. Some pieces of this board have a symmetry, so I just use the symmetry here, and laterally I can unify the mirror and move every component to its location.